Prince William had always carried pressure in silence, the weight of expectation, the constant need to appear composed, and the quiet, emotional burden of a complicated family history shaped him long before power ever reached his hands. When the moment finally came, it didn't arrive gently. It arrived with inheritance, authority, and a decision that would ripple through the royal family. When Queen Elizabeth II passed away, the shift was immediate. King Charles III took the throne, and in that same breath, Prince William became the Duke of Cornwall. With it came control of the Duchy of Cornwall, a vast and historic estate worth over £1 billion, land, wealth, and influence accumulated over centuries. But this wasn't just an inheritance, it was power in its purest form, and William, shaped by years of quiet observation, was ready to use it. Not gradually, not cautiously, but decisively. What followed would shock those who believed tradition would protect them. For nearly 2 decades, one name remained quietly embedded within the duchy's operations: Annabel Elliot, the sister of Queen Camilla. Appointed during Charles's control of the estate, her role as chief interior designer was never publicly contested, yet it was rarely questioned aloud. She worked steadily, shaping the interiors of royal properties, cottages, and developments tied to the duchy. Over time, her position became less about scrutiny and more about familiarity, an accepted part of how things were done. Then William stepped in. There was no announcement, no drawn-out transition. When the duchy's financial report for the following year was released, the message was unmistakable. No payments, no continuation, no role. Annabel Elliot's nearly 20-year association with the duchy had ended without ceremony. To some, it was efficiency. To others, it was something far more personal, because in that single move, William didn't just change staffing, he dismantled a connection. And for Camilla's family, it felt like the ground beneath them had quietly disappeared. To understand the tension, you have to go back, not to contracts or roles, but to memory, to a young boy listening to his mother speak through pain. Princess Diana was not just a figure of grace to the world. To William, she was a voice that carried truth, vulnerability, and heartbreak. Her struggles within her marriage, particularly her relationship with Camilla, were not hidden from him. They were felt, absorbed, remembered, and those memories don't simply fade with time. They evolve. They shape decisions in ways that are rarely spoken aloud but deeply understood. William's relationship with Camilla was never defined by closeness. It existed in a careful balance, respectful, controlled, but distant. Her family, by extension, remained outside that emotional boundary. So when William removed Annabel from the duchy, it wasn't just administrative. It carried the quiet weight of years, of loyalty to his mother, of unresolved tension, and of a desire to draw a clear line between past influence and future control. What came next was subtle but significant. William began surrounding himself with individuals he trusted, people from his own circle, his own life, his own understanding of loyalty. The duchy, once shaped by his father's preferences, was being redefined under a new philosophy. This wasn't about rejection for the sake of it. It was about control, about ensuring that every role, every decision, aligned with a vision that felt authentic to him. And that vision looked different. It focused less on tradition for tradition's sake and more on purpose, modernization, sustainability, and social responsibility. Plans to address homelessness, environmental impact, and long-term value began to take shape. The duchy was no longer just an estate, it was becoming a platform for change. But with every new appointment, every quiet shift, one reality became clearer. The influence of Camilla's family was fading, not loudly, not dramatically, just steadily. If this is how William acts as Prince of Wales, the question lingers: what happens when he becomes king? For Queen Camilla, the answer may be unsettling. Her current position, secured through years of patience and public acceptance, is tied to Charles's reign. Beyond that, the future becomes uncertain. Because William is not simply inheriting a crown, he is preparing to redefine what that crown represents. His actions suggest a monarchy that is leaner, more controlled, and deeply personal in its structure. One where influence is earned, not inherited through connection. One where emotional history quietly informs strategic decisions. And for those who once found security within the system as it was, that shift feels less like progress and more like displacement. In the end, this was never just about a job. It was about power, memory, and a future being shaped shaped by a man who has spent his entire life preparing, silently, for the moment he would no longer have to.